Hello, everybody. This afternoon, I've been making some thank you cards that I need to send out to customers, and I like to make them in bulk so that I can, whip them out really fast and not make one each time I need to send one out. That's not very productive. So I'm making little 3x3 thank you cards, and I typically send these out with a little thank you gift when someone places an order. Or I'll do a full-size card sometimes. It really depends, but these are nice to have on hand and be ready to hand out or mail out. So I'm using this new Good Life Prints paper pack. Let me show you what I do when I get the new paper packs. I look up all the coordinating cardstock colors and I write them down here and just slip them into the front of this envelope that I have this in. I don't know where I received these envelopes. They're old and I've kind of cut the tops off of them. They used to Velcro shut. And it's nice to contain everything because when I have scraps, I put the scraps back into whichever paper pack. Nothing smaller than an inch, but otherwise I put them back in here. Okay, so I used this piece right here, really pretty, and this one right here. Okay, put that aside. And I'll show you, I'm using 4 new colors that are with this kit. And I'm using Chambray shirt, which is this blue, Peaches and Cream, Rustic Rose, and this fresh sage, which I love. This is my favorite. So I'm going to show you how these go together, making the fresh sage. I've also made envelopes that coordinate, and I'm going to make an envelope too to show you how these come together. Okay, so we have a piece of 6x3 solid cardstock, and this is in the fresh sage. Score it at 3, which is right down the middle, and then you have a 3x3 little card, okay? And then I take the printed paper and I cut that down to 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So just 1/4 of an inch all the way around. All right. Now I'm going to round the corners. You can see on this one I just rounded 2 corners. And then on this one I rounded all the corners. I like that look because the corners are rounded on the envelope I'm going to make. So I think I'm going to do that here also. Let me get my little corner rounder. And it can be a little difficult when you've got the double, but that's okay. It still works. Okay. And let's do this. So I'm going to do all 4 corners. So this is all rounded. So then before I want to adhere this, I want to do all the corners on this too. Because I just think it looks better not having the square on the rounded corners. And this is thinner, so I can actually fit it in here and just do it with my hand rather than having to press down on it. Okay. The other side of this is cute too. It's the little stripes, but we're going to go with the floral today. And I'm going to be adhering it with this green piece over here because this is where my ribbon and bow is going to go. And I don't want to cover up the green since that's the coordinating color on this one. Okay, get rid of all my little scraps here. We are going to first, before we adhere it down, we're going to put this ribbon down, okay? And I'm just going to wrap it around this one side right there on the side, all right? So let's put the piece here, and I'm going to put a little piece of adhesive, just a tiny bit. And this is double-sided tape, which is good for this kind of thing. Piece there, and then I'm going to put a piece right down there at the end also. Okay, I'm going to burnish it down. This is my bloom tool. I keep saying I'm going to do a review of all the different things a bloom tool would do. I never get around to it. Maybe I'll just do a blog post. Maybe it'd be easier. Okay, put this down here. And then I'll cut this piece off. We're not going to use very much ribbon. We're going to use as little as possible to get this ribbon going around so that we're not wasting ribbon. No one's going to see. It doesn't matter if there's a little extra sticky because this is going to stick down on the front of our card anyway. Okay, now I'm going to do a little piece, maybe about that long. I'm going to tie it under here. And I'm just going to put one end under the other and tie it tight. And you could see how I kind of then I've got these ribbons. One's going down this way, one's going up. I'm going to cut this one off, slant like that. Cut this one off at a slant like that. Okay. So then I just have these two little flaps. And then I'm going to take these little bows. This ribbon is the Rock Candy Organza ribbon. And these are the Rock Candy bows. Which are just so pretty, these little tiny bows. So just need one for this card. And I'm going to come over here to my glue dots. Get one up. You see how they flip up like that? Then I'm going to take it off of here. And place it on the back. Let's see which one's the front, which one's the back. Okay, that's the front. So I'm going to place it on the back here. And I'm going to go and stick it down right there. There we go. See how cute that is? I love that. Okay, now what we need is just a scrap of this sage. And let me see if I have a tinier scrap. I've got all my scraps set aside for making these, but I do not. I just have this. So I'm going to take this. This is so pretty, the script on this. It's Thankful script from, or the Thankful sentiment from this stamp set, which is called Cottage Bouquet, which I absolutely love. And this is the stamp set I'm using for my fall creativity box and memory keeping kit. And I'll be launching those later on in August. So I'll get back to you on that. So I'm going to take this Thankful, and I'm going to ink it up in black. And I have one of these little cubes. These are another little thank you gift that I send out of our black ink. These tiny cubes. And there'll be one in each kit also. And I'm going to come I just want to make a little tag. There we go. So I'm not going to get fancy with this. I'm just going to go up like this and then across. I'm not the best at a straight line, but I think that will do. Then I'm going to take and put a little piece, a little snip right here about middle. And then I'm going to snip from one pointed corner into the middle where that cut is, and then the other pointed corner into the middle. And there we go. So we just have that little tag. And I have that ready to go on the front of my card. All right, so now I'm going to adhere this piece to here, and I'm going to use some of the Journey craft glue. Do you believe it? I already have more of this on order. I mean, it is crazy how fast I go through this because I use it for most everything. This is going to have to be shut down because it's not very full. Okay. Let's get enough on here. You don't need a bunch. And I store this upside down in a little container on my desk so that the adhesive stays down. But I've been using it so it wasn't there. Okay, put this, and we're just going to kind of center it to where there's 1/4 of an inch all the way around. And you have a little bit of wiggle room with this before it adheres totally. Okay, there's that. Now we're going to put a little bit of adhesive on this, and I'm going to just stick it in here at an angle, just like that. If you get a little bit too much on a corner, just kind of work it around. You don't want it seeping out the sides when you adhere this. Okay, so I'm going to stick it under here and just put it at an angle. I just like the way that looks. Now, that's as fancy as I'm getting with these cards, but if I wanted to get fancier, I have these little dots. I could put a few around. That's always cute. It's just these are very simple cards that I want to whip out in a hurry, so I didn't do a lot with them. Okay, now we're going to do the envelope. So for the envelope, you're going to need a piece of, and I've got these over here, 7" by 4 1/4. And we're going to do some scoring in here. Now, where'd you go, little orange scoring tool? I just had you. There it is. I knew it couldn't have gotten far. So I'm going to put this cutting blade up a little bit and put the scoring blade on. And if you get it right about to the middle, it just snaps down. Okay, so on the long side, I'm going to score at 1 inch, which is right there. And if it can be hard to see these small, the 1 inch. So what I do is each square is 1/4 of an inch. So I know I want to go over 4 of those squares, and that's right at the 1 inch. And I'm going to score it there. And then I'm going to push this across and score again at 4 1/4. And I can make sure my line lines up with all of these squares here because they're every 1/4 of an inch. So should be on one of those. Okay, there's that. So that's all I'm going to do to that right. Oh, no, I'm going to turn it one more time. Sorry. And I'm going to score 1/2 inch from each end. So I want to go over 2 squares right there. And I want to score there. Then I'm going to flip it around and do it 1/2 inch again. So it's 2 squares. Okay. Now I have to do some cutting here. And that I'm just doing with my scissors. Let me score it first so we can see really clearly. So I'm going to fold down everything that I just scored and give it a good crease. And if you don't have a bone folder and you're doing paper crafts, it's a really great thing to have. It's not a necessity, but it is a great thing. And all of my equipment is always so dirty. It's because I craft a lot. And then this one down. Okay. So going to see now here, I have this little rectangle there. I don't need that. So I'm going to cut it out. Cut right along to that crease there. And then cut along that crease to my other cut. And if you see, oops, I got a little bit, I didn't get enough there, then just do it again. There you go. So cut over to there. And then cut this rectangle out too. Okay. And you can see I left a little tiny wedge there. Let me get that out. Now we don't need this long one on the opposite side either to make our envelope. So I'm going to cut up that. And it can be a little hard to see these crease lines on white paper. So you maybe have to put it under some stronger light than what I've got going on right now. To get it going. There we go. Okay, get this one going. And also you can use bigger scissors than these for this long side. It would be easier to do and easier to keep straight if you use some longer scissors instead of the detail shears. Okay, so you could see how this is going to go together, just like this. Now, one thing I like to do is on these, I like to kind of do a wedge. So it's at an angle. It just folds and glues down so much better if you do that. So let's cut this way, just like that. Okay, now I want to round all of the corners that are going to show. So I'm going to fold these down so that this one will fit into my corner rounder. Press down. Then on this side. Okay, then I'm going to fold this down so I can get this top right here, because you're going to see that top part. There we go. And then down here. See, I got this a little wonky right there, probably because I'm on camera. So I'm just going to trim that over, just like that. Okay, everything's good. Now I have a piece that I've cut to go right here to make a liner out of. Actually, I think it goes this way. Yes. So this piece is 3 by 3 1/8, I believe. Yeah, 3 1/8 by 3. And that just, you don't need it very long, because, you know, you're not going to see this all inside the envelope. Okay, now I'm going to round those top corners so that it matches. And then I'm just going to glue this down in a minute, but let me show you what I'm going to do first. If I glued it down and tried to fold, this is going to want to come up on me, okay? So I'm going to take my steel ruler here, and I'm going to line it up where that crease, just before that crease mark, both sides. And then I'm going to take my bone folder, my crease tool, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just going to go across here a couple times. Now this will fold. So when after I glue it down and I get ready to fold this whole thing, it'll be much easier to do. Okay, let's put the adhesive on this. Yeah, my delivery should be in Tuesday or Wednesday this week. Yay! I need my adhesive. I should probably order about 6 at a time. I usually order 2 at a time because I usually have another order I need to make before I run out. But this was getting close. Okay, now you see how that will fold down nicely and stay in that crease. All right, now we're going to glue it shut. And I'm going to use some double-sided tape for that because I just like it better on boxes and this kind of thing. Okay, now I don't want to put the adhesive here because obviously this goes up higher than I need it to. So I'm going to put it on this piece and this piece. Go. Cut it this time. It's going this way. All right. Do this. Up. Sometimes if you don't burnish double-sided tape down, the adhesive can come up with it. So you're not leaving any tape behind. All right, I'm just going to close this up. Make sure our sides are even. Okay, and you can see now how our card matches. Just slip it on in here like that. And it will fold up. You can tape it down or you can tuck this part in however you like it. I should say that, first of all this is Fun Stamper's Journey cardstock and printed paper. So this cardstock is an 80-pound. But this is cardstock that you can buy at Michael's. It's like a 60 or a 65-pound. And the reason I like this for these envelopes is it's a little more flexible. It's not as hard to fold because with these, you could see how heavy that is. If I made an envelope out of it, it would be a very stiff envelope, and this one isn't. You can really, if you were here feeling it, you could feel the difference for sure. Anyway, those are the little thank you cards I have. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you got something out of it, maybe some inspiration. Thanks for watching, everybody, and happy crafting.